trying to get money at the very beginning. Oh, I'm going into network. I thought that was my second point. I missed it. I started going into this.
That's all right. We can restart.
Yeah, we can restart.
Starting it before flowed a lot better.
And if I forget, you'll grab it, right?
Yeah, because that was kind of a little choppy. It was like...
Hello, and welcome back to Monetize Me. My name is Jay.
And my name is Mac.
So previously, we talked a bit about some of the problems that arise when you're founding a company. And today, we just want to talk about the pros of founding with co-founders as opposed to being a solo founder. And so there's a lot of things. And if you do your research, you can go through the kind of pros and cons specific to you for solo founding versus co-founding. But these are some of the pros that we've run into when it comes to co-founding. So the first being resources. When you're co-founding with other people, you have a lot more man hours, a lot more perspective, and a lot more capital initially from the get-go that you don't have to struggle to get when you're alone. This can save a lot of time and money as well when you're either hiring or trying to outsource at the beginning because you have more people to work on things, you have a bit more bandwidth, as well as the early stages tend to be quicker. So when you're alone and you have to do everything, you have to do the tech, the product, the branding, the sales, everything, the business plan. When you have more people, it goes a lot quicker because you could just delegate, okay, we're all working on our things, and it can go, one, more smoothly, and two, a lot quicker. And that's just the advantage of having more hands.
Yeah, so exactly. You have more brain power to kind of start up that company. This actually is one of the reasons why VCs tend to bias more founders as compared to solo founders because of the huge amount of resources that comes with more co-founders, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, one solo founder, if you think about it as a mathematical equation, one solo founder is variable X. When you have more co-founders, think about it very simply. Let's not get into the complications. You have 3X theoretically. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap, other stuff that you have to consider, but you have more resources at your hands and you have more brain power and you're able to kind of harness that to start up a company. And as you said, make the startup process easier and smoother.
It flows better when you have more people in the beginning, yeah.
So another resource that you have with more co-founders is a larger network. When you're a solo founder, you have one pool of people to kind of go to for stuff, right? Family, friends. So in the beginning stages of your startup, one of the more important things is capital, raising capital. And usually that comes from your friends and family, right? So if you're a solo founder, you have one pool of friends and family, right? If you have two founders, that's double the pool, theoretically meaning double the money, or the other way to do it is literally to spread it out among against that pool of people. So you're taking less from each individual person. Thus, you're risking less, or you're not damaging your relationship.
Have to ask for more.
Yeah, exactly. So it just gives you a lot more options when it comes to raising capital.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a bigger pool of people to test your product with. We talk a lot about the importance of iterating and learning from customer feedback. You automatically have a larger sample pool of people to test it out.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys remember the Lean Startup episode, where we talked about customer feedback, where that was one of the more important pillars of that methodology, this is perfect. If I have 3 co-founders, I have theoretically triple the amount of friends to go to, triple the amount of family to go to, and be like, hey, I'm working on this. And it just comes up. Like, basically every startup we've started, there's always been questions from either friends or family about, oh, what are you working on? And just comes up naturally in the conversation, and you immediately get feedback. You immediately get, oh, this might not work. I got this. You come back to the drawing board the next day or whenever, and you're like immediately, hey, I got some feedback on our business model. I don't think it's going to work that way.
Yeah, or even in the early stages when it's just still the idea, you can throw it around. Like maybe at a family gathering, I'm talking to my brother, and I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about something like this. He'll immediately be like, oh, well, what if you did this instead? Or how would you actually make that work with this? Different variables that maybe I didn't think of, maybe I did, and I could practice my pitch. But it's just good to have those perspectives. Yeah,
exactly. So you're bringing in not only the co-founders' perspectives, you're also bringing in their family and friends' perspective. The other thing that's really important about co-founders is you have an easier time hiring people. You have an easier time acquiring the talent you need. So with more co-founders, you have more ex-classmates, more ex-co-workers. You have people that you can grab as a talent base. Where if you had one solo founder, sure, you might be able to kind of approach your different friends. But again, more people, meaning you have more of that pool to grab from. So it just makes it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that comes when you have more hands is the combined skills. So a lot of these advantages are just around having more people, and this is no different. The more people you have and the more co-founders you're working with, ideally, if you structured it correctly, you all have a different skill set. You might not be completely separate. There might be some overlap, but ideally you'd be working on different things, have different skills, have different preferences, and want to work on different things. This can be very advantageous because you're going to be able to accomplish a lot more than a solo founder. Well, meaning a solo founder could do it all, but they'd also have to research, and maybe they're a beginner. Versus, okay, I have 3 people that are all good at different things. Not only can we accomplish more, but it's going to be higher quality because they've been there. They actually have experience doing just that versus someone who hasn't done that before. Another one is avoiding outsourcing and hiring just for a bit later. When you're a solo founder, you might have to do that a bit earlier versus when you have co-founders, you can pretty much fill all the roles you need from the get-go. You can have someone working on tech, someone working on the branding or sales or finance. You can accomplish all this within your co-founding group, so you don't have to waste capital or you don't have the troubles that go with payroll trying to outsource it. And lastly, you have things that you like to work on that you get to dedicate more time to. So you always go into a startup because of the thrill, right? You want to work on this because you find it cool, or you like that industry, or it would be a cool project. Well, when you have more co-founders, you get a lot more time working on what you want to work on. If I'm a developer and I'm starting an app, a company surrounded around an app, and I have co-founders to take care of the branding and the sales and maybe the business aspect, I get to spend a lot more time building the app, which means I can hone my technical skills, I can hone my architecture skills, and I enjoy development, so I get to do that more. I get to spend more time doing what I like, which helps prevent burnout and can foster morale. When you're a solo founder, you have to do everything. So there's a chance that you end up burning out just because you're doing so many things that you don't actually enjoy doing or want to do, that it just kind of weighs down on you. And after a while, you either might get up or just get disgruntled.
Yeah, I think that you should set up your startup to take advantage of the skill sets of your founders. You should bring on people that complement your skill set.
I was going to say, I think it's the other round. I think you should target your co-founders around what you need accomplished.
Yeah, so you should basically set up your startup so that I'm bringing in this person to do this part of the business, right? You have the different parts of the business figured out, and you look for the founders that complement it. Yeah. So instead of getting stuck with a bunch of friends who all know the same thing and all want to work on the same thing, you get more of a breadth of skills. Again, you take advantage of the different skill sets that come to the table. It's not just 2 designers. They're starting a company and they both just want to design logos. And again, depending on the company, that could work. For example, if it's a clothing company, having 2 designers as founders, that could work because they might be bringing different aspects, different creativity. But if you bring in 2 web developers and they're both wanting to work on the website, and nobody wants to go and do the business side, nobody wants to go and talk to the customers, that's where you're setting yourself up for failure. You always want to bring in people who complement your skill set. And I think we'll talk about this more about how you think about this in terms of equity too, right? So how you think about the whole, what skills do you bring to the table and how much equity are you getting? Are we playing the same role? Are you playing a different role, right?
Absolutely.
So this is a really important point to think about before you bring on people.
Yes, and I don't think, I want to kind of clarify, I don't think it's necessarily always bad if you're in the same industry or have the same skill sets, or you're both, even if you have the same background, as long as you prefer doing different things, you want to hone skills in a different area so that you can spend time on things that don't overlap, then you're good. Because maybe I want to sharpen my skills in business and developing business plans and revenue strategies, and you don't, and you want to focus more on branding. Well, then I don't have much experience in it, but I can dive in and take care of that aspect of the company while you take care of the other aspect, even though we came from the same background. There's not a problem. Yes, we didn't have those skills to begin with, and we don't have a lot of experience, which isn't ideal, but it's also not as bad as us working on the same thing.
Yeah. And like, if you think about it, the other thing you get from co-founders is that emotional support, that emotional comfort of knowing that there are other people that are in this with you, right? So if you're taking a break, if you need to take a vacation, or you have a family emergency, or you're sick, you know that the company isn't going to collapse in your absence, right? It's less pressure on you as an individual compared to a solo founder who has all that pressure on them to succeed. It's less pressure on you because you have other people that will try to help you get through it, right? You can talk to somebody when things get rough. You can talk to somebody about a failure. Friends and family are always there for moral support, but this takes it on to another level because you're talking to somebody who understands the situation, and not only understands it, is probably going through the same thing yourself, right? If a company is doing bad, you're not the only one feeling down or feeling like you're risking everything, right? And you're going to lose everything. It's a mutual feeling among the co-founders, and you're able to bring in more effective solutions to the problem, right? And like, if you think about it, when you have multiple founders, you're probably going to have one that's more passionate or more driven as compared to the others. And that passion, that drive, basically propels the company forward as a whole. Just because one person, because that one person comes into the office every day with a big smile or like an energetic attitude, that spreads across the company and keeps the morale up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, positivity is contagious. It is. And when you go in, whether you're that person or it's someone else, if I'm going in every day and working with people and I'm energetic and I want to be there and I'm dedicated, I get there early, I leave late, and I just bring energy, it's going to spread. And other people are going to be like, wow, yeah, you're getting me pumped up. I'm getting excited about this. I have that passion. It's easier to maintain when you have more people. That being said, maybe I had a bad week. Maybe I had a bad day. Maybe something's going on in my personal life and I've just been down lately. I can come in, and because I've been there to pump people up and get them going, and they've just kind of been riding off that, now I have people to support me. Now they can be like, no, it's okay. We'll take a load off. Just focus on these things, and we'll make sure that you have that balance, or you have the room, the leeway you need to kind of get over this, and they can pump you up. It goes both ways, and it's just easier to maintain a positive morale when you have co-founders. If you were a solo founder, one, I don't care if it's a sick day, I don't care if it's a family emergency. If you're not there, the business isn't running. And two, you're alone. So you don't have the camaraderie of having someone going through it with you and being able to talk to them about your problems because they get it because they're right next to you. You're alone, and you don't, maybe if you have a bad day or you've had a bad week and you come into work, you have to pump yourself up. You have to find a way to persevere alone, which can be very difficult at times.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has brought some value into your life.
Yeah, let us know if you have any other questions around some of the benefits of co-founding. I know one big question that a lot of people might have is around equity, and it's a fairly big topic, so we're probably going to make a video to dive deeper on that specifically, just because it's fairly deep and it could take a minute.
Fairly deep.
Yeah.
We're going to dive deeper.
We're going to dive deeper. But
anyway, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. We will be covering the cons of co-founding. And hope you stay tuned. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.